Okay, we're rolling.
All right, this is an interview at Delmar Place, Delmar, New York, 22nd of March 2006, 10:20 a.m. Interviewers are Wayne Clark and Mike Russert. Could you give me your full name, date of birth, and place of birth, please?
My name now, Barbara Rosenthal Allen,
Okay. What is your date of birth, please?
5/2/25,
And where were you born?
Albany, New York.
Oh, okay. What was your educational background prior to entering the service?
High school and 1 year of college,
Whereabouts did you go to college?
Russell Sage.
Do you remember where you were and your reaction when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
I was in my home and shocked, absolutely shocked,
How did you hear about it?
on the
On
radio.
the radio? Okay. Now, why did you decide to enlist in the Navy?
Well, I was going with a gentleman who was reported missing in action. So I joined. And no sooner did I join, he appeared on the scene.
Now, why did you select the Navy?
Was he in the Navy?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And when I went down to New York, in those days you had to take a test before your physical. And while I was sitting there, I met another young lady. And we have been friends for over 50 years. In fact, unfortunately, she passed away last week. But we've had a long friendship with our children and our grandchildren.
So the first time you met was when the two of you were joining the service?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. In fact, she said, "Would you like to go to Schrafft's?" And I said, "What's Schrafft's?"
Both of you went into the Navy then together?
Yeah.
You served together
Yeah.
also? Oh, that was, okay. What was her name?
Lorraine Phillips,
And where was she from?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn? Okay. All right, when you joined in New York City.
Yes.
Where did you go for training?
Hunter College, Great Lakes, Illinois,
Okay.
and then St. Albans, Long Island.
What was your training like initially? Was it pretty rigorous and hard, or?
Well, I was in the medical. It was difficult. It was difficult when we had to take care of those men who had been prisoners and various things. It was quite sad. And I don't think they were thrilled with the women in the service.
Now, what kind of specialized training did you receive to work?
Hospital work,
Mhm.
lab tech. In fact, I went on with that, and before I retired, I had 31 years working in a lab.
So this was something you learned while you were in the service then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. As a lab, were you a lab tech in the service?
Yes.
What did you do specifically?
Blood tests, urine analysis, the routine lab work.
Did you wear like a nurse's uniform or the Navy uniform?
A Navy uniform. Yeah.
What kind of rank were you given?
Hospital, oh God, so long ago. Hospital Apprentice, 3rd class, I think. many moons.
Did you, so you basically worked with patients that had returned from the front lines
Yes.
or were POWs? Did you ever have any illnesses or so on, contract anything while you were in
No.
the service?
What type of housing did you have?
Barracks.
Okay.
What hospital were you assigned to?
Let's see. St. Albans, Long Island,
Okay.
and Brooklyn Naval Hospital.
Now, you stayed in barracks then in both of those places?
Yeah.
Hmm. What were the barracks like?
Crude.
Did you have bunk beds or regular type beds?
Bunk beds, yeah.
What was the equipment like that you used?
At that time,
Yes.
when I look back now, very old-fashioned.
What kind of changes did you see in the equipment in all those years you've been in as a lab tech?
The changes,
Yes.
well, the changes I've seen now, because over the years, 31 years,
Hmm.
I worked in a lab.
Right. But what kind of change did you see in the kind of equipment?
Equipment and testing, all kinds of various things.
Okay. Were there any amusing stories that stand out more than others?
Well,
Or inspirational things that happened that maybe stand out?
well, I met a wonderful young lady that we were friends, you know, for over 50 years. And amusing, I don't think the men were thrilled with the women in service.
How did they treat you? Were
Not
they-
very nice,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Were there any, what were your officers like? Were most of the officers where you were they doctors or?
Yes, medical,
Hmm.
yes.
How were you treated by them?
Efficiently.
Okay. What do you think was probably one of the greatest impressions of this work that you did, that you recall?
Well, I was very happy to be part of the recovery. I felt I was doing something.
Were there ever any unusual duties that you had to do?
No. As far as medically,
Yes.
I don't think so.
Okay. When did you leave service?
46.
46. Now, were you able to use the GI Bill?
I didn't take the advantage of it.
So the education you received, you did on your own then?
Yes.
What was the education that you received after service?
After service that I paid for myself,
Yes, yeah.
I had 1 year of college.
Okay. So you worked then as a lab tech for 30
And I worked for the New York State Health Department, the virus unit,
Oh. That must have been
for
interesting.
31 years.
Oh. Now, whereabouts was that located?
Well, it was on New Scotland Avenue,
Uh-huh.
next to the Armory,
Oh, okay.
but I think it's gone now.
Okay.
Then I think they moved it out to Griffin Lab outside the city.
Okay.
Okay. Did you ever join any veterans organizations at all?
I temporarily did, but yeah.
How do you think your time in the service changed or had an effect on your life?
Well, as I said, I met this lovely woman, and we were friends for over 50
Yeah, you
years.
formed a lifelong friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you would have ever gone into, like, being a lab tech if it wasn't for the service?
Probably not.
All right. Are there any other things you recall that did you ever see any USO shows at all?
Yes, I did.
What did you see? Do you remember?
Oh, God. So long ago.
How did the civilian population treat you as a woman in uniform? Were you treated with a lot of respect out, outside of
Well,
the
my
house?
parents were not happy.
They didn't like you being in the
No,
service?
they thought only bad girls did that. But my friends thought it was wonderful.
Mhm.
Now, after you left service, did you stay in the Albany area then? Return to
Yeah,
the Albany area
yeah.
and you stayed here?
And I worked at the lab on New Scotland.
Yes, yeah. Now, where did your friends, she stay in New York City?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much for your interview.
Okay.